This is Sheri Ann Richerson from experimentalhomesteader.com. And what we're going to do today, as soon as I get through softening up this fondant, is we're going to make a swan. That's going to be our first project. And I did buy pre-made fondant. The stuff that I bought was vanilla flavored. And I'm just kneading it a little bit here to soften it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tear off a small piece. I'm going to roll it because you want to make sure that this is rolled really nicely. You don't want any cracks or anything like that on the part that's going to go into the mold, because if you have that, it's going to show. And then I'm going to take a little bit of cornstarch. I'm actually going to just shake it out back there. And I'm going to roll this in it, because what I want to do is I want to get a thin layer of cornstarch on my fondant ball. And then I'm going to take this mold, and let me get this out of the way so maybe you can see a little bit better. Let me move the camera a little closer too. Okay, I'm going to take this mold. Like I said, I'm going to make sure the part that I put down is perfectly smooth, or as smooth as I can get it. Okay, and then I'm actually going to kind of roll this out a little bit because of the shape of the swan. Maybe pull it out there and roll it a little better. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of put it in a little shape like that, you can see. And I'm going to press this gently but firmly down into my mold. Okay. This is a little spatula that you can get in the cake decorating area of most stores. This particular one happened to come with my cricket cake kit, but I have seen them for sale, so I know that you can get them. Okay, this is my initial, what it looks like. You can see there's some gaps and things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll some more fondant, and I'm going to press it. What I'm trying to do is make sure that there are no seams on the front side of my swan. It doesn't matter on the back, because you're not going to see that part. But it does matter on the front. And I'm going to kind of press this up and work it a little bit. It's okay that it's tearing, because that's not a part we're going to leave on anyway. And then again, I'm going to take my little spatula here. I'm going to kind of slice across. The swan is wanting to come up this time, and I'm not really sure why, because I did this last night and everything worked great. So I don't know what's going on today, but either way, I will press it back down. Like I said, the side that you're looking at doesn't have to be perfect. Just, you know, do the best you can. Alright. I'm going to give it one more good pressing to make sure it's picking up all the detail. I think I'm going to put a small little piece of fondant right there, because I think I'm not happy with that little indentation that I'm seeing. Just going to kind of roll it up a little bit. Kind of put it in like that. Okay. Press it in the very best I can. Alright. And then what I'm going to do with, this is a silicone mold, for those of you that don't know. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the freezer, just like that, for 20 minutes. And after it has set in the freezer for 20 minutes, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to unmold it. Any little pieces, like possibly right up here, that where there's little pieces that you don't want, I will scrape off after it's done, and it's easier to see that way too. And then I will show you what we're going to end up with. I did this last night, I took a little bit of pearl dust. I don't know how well you can see. I don't want to break this. But I just dusted it with pearl dust, and this is actually very shiny. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the freezer now, and then when it's ready to unmold, we'll come back and I'll unmold it on camera so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, I have just removed the Swan from the freezer after 20 minutes. I'm going to bend it over and very gently flex the mold because I don't want to break it coming out. I just want to get the mold to release. Okay? And I don't know, I kind of want to show you. See how that's just coming apart real easy? But I want to do it upside down here because I think it works better that way, at least for me. Okay, and I'm just going to gently peel this mold back. Okay. Want to be real careful with that head. And there you go. There is my Swan. Let me pick her up. It's very soft and flexible at this point. Okay, because the Swan is not hardened. So you want to be careful so you don't get it misshapen or something. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this pearl dust that I have here. This is a white glittery pearl dust. I'm just going to dip my paintbrush in, and I'm going to get some out here, and I'm going to brush this all over my Swan. This was probably not the best paintbrush to use. My other ones were wet. That was why I picked this one. You can be a little generous with this. You have to make sure that you have this covered well, because any place that you don't get the pearl dust is going to clearly show. Because this is wet, this fondant is still wet, it's actually taking a lot better than the other one, which I had let partially dry. So that's a good thing. I want to be sure that I get the neck and the head and everything. And don't forget the sides when you're doing this, because even though you're not going to see the back, you are going to see the sides when you put this on your cake or your cupcake or your pie or whatever it is you're going to use it on. And if you look real close, you can see, I mean, it's really easy to see if you have missed a spot. Just kind of spin it around. You know, like I said, if you need a little more, use it. If you mess up and you don't notice it till it's dry, you can add a little bit of water. But I think it's much, much easier after doing it partially dry and doing it right now while it's still wet. It's easier to put it on fresh out of the freezer. It's adhering a lot better. And I'm guessing because my camera's on the stand, it's not picking all of this up. I apologize for that. I really need both of my hands, and I don't have a camera person right now, so I'm just trying to do the best I can at the moment. Okay. Seal that back up. And then I'm going to take this out. I think I'm going to use my paintbrush. I'm just going to slide this down and off the mat and onto this solid board. Just like that. Like I said, I realize you probably can't see real good because I'm probably too close to the camera and every other thing. But then I'm just going to set my Swan. Just going to make sure that's not too close to this edge. And I'm just going to set my Swan in here. And I'm going to let it dry. And this is just an airtight container. And I put some little silica gel packets in to absorb any excess moisture so my little decorative pieces don't mold.